Hello, you are on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. More than 90% watch my videos without a subscription. Subscribe to the channel so we always stay in touch. Enjoy watching. My mother has poisoned me. This is a throwaway account. Ever since I became an adult about a decade ago, my mother has been against me moving out of the house. I finally got a job as a line cook 3 years ago. My mother, and rest of family, which includes my sister and father, has been against it, mainly saying that such a job cannot sustain me, which was true. They also said that I would hate working, which turned out to be false. About a year and a half later, I quit due to health reasons. The following spring, I got a new job as a computer programmer. While they seemed supportive at first, my mother and sister, who I lived with, gradually became hostile. Eventually, I moved out of the house. About a month later, I lost my job, and about 3 months later, moved back home. Everything was cool at first, but as I was getting calls from recruiters and going to job interviews, they gradually became more hostile again, accusing me of being distant and not caring for them. However, they seemed to be very controlling, and hateful of the fact that I wanted to move out and wanted a decent job. So last month, I finally got that job as a programmer again, but it was out of town. I had just enough money to relocate to the new city. They became very hostile starting a few days before I left, accusing me of not loving them, of hating them. On the day before I was scheduled to leave, my mother gave me 2 of the styrofoam ramen noodles cups, and tore that cardboard covering that normally comes with it and threw it away. I was suspicious that they would try to sabotage my life, so I was careful in not trying to anger them. She gave a few more food items, which I didn't use, to take on the trip with me. When I arrived at my new city and entered my hotel room, I chilled out. I was to go to work the next day. So, after the first day at work, I ate a cup of ramen noodles and felt ill. I knew that feeling because my sister fed me something that made me feel the same way in late 2011, which I then assumed was because of my recent illness. I felt weak, lightheaded, and short of breath. I drank water to make me feel better, because that's what I did last time that happened to me. Over the week, my mother kept calling me, making sure to remind me to eat my ramen noodles. I was short on cash then, waiting for my first paycheck. I never told her that I ate it. I suspected then that I had been poisoned, and after doing some Googling, believed it was cyanide. Now that is something that you should never have to think, that your own mother would do that to you. So I resisted that thought, because I simply could not bear to think that. So, I went to http://cyanidetest.com and ordered a kit, and I tried it. Now, look at the graphics and the video on this page. Update: a few months ago, I posted this. I was only able to file a police report, but only that, so far. The police do not have enough evidence to investigate. I have gone no contact with my family. I currently live in a cheap motel in Topeka, Kansas. Yesterday, after getting home from work, I work for the Kansas state government as a software developer. The lady at the front desk told me that my mother called them to speak to me. For security reasons, the motel needs both the name and room number, and my mother didn't have my room number. She didn't even attempt to call me cell phone, which makes me believe that she just wanted to know if I was staying there, and where.so. This morning, I leave a little earlier than usual. The sky was still in the early twilight phase. I take the bus to and from work because my car blew a gasket almost a year ago, before I moved and got my current job. As I was talking towards the bus stop, I saw someone in a strange car. She told me that if she visited, she would be using a rental car, using the finger to tell me to come here. I looked, but kept on walking. Then she opened the car door, and she was in a black outfit in a hood, which is strange for my mother. Then I knew it was her when I saw her face. She told me to come here, and I said no, kept a good distance. She said that she just wanted to know if I was okay. So I said yes, I am. She said that she just wanted a hug, but I said no, I don't know if there was anyone else in the car with her. But she is a gun owner and a good shot. She routinely kicked all of our asses in Duck Hunt when I was a little kid, and still owned when playing Wii games with the gun controller. I ended up taking another bus to get to my job.so. When I get off of work, what is the best way to go home, or should I even go? If not, where should I go? I really think that it is not safe for me here in Topeka. So if anyone knows of any .NET development jobs, please PM me. Also, please give me some advice. Update: I was an adult, mid-20s or older to be more exact, when she tried this, so I don't know if that still applies. Oddly, she always wanted me to go on welfare so that she could use the money, even though she has been a psychiatric RN for more than 15 years, and she told me she makes about $90K for a salary about a year ago. So I guess you could say that she was greedy for money. What would you need my welfare payments, which totaled out to about $200 per month, for when you are making that much money? Some other weird things about this is that she is a hoarder, and nothing around the house was ever fixed because it cost too much money. Even when told by others that the job didn't have to be expensive, she refused to do anything to fix the house. She couldn't be bothered to buy a $100 washer and dryer. Many of the wood walls and ceilings are decaying, and there is a huge hole in the ceiling right above the tub. There are so many problems like that in the house. But again, she couldn't use her money to actually fix the house and provide a safe living space for my now 5-year-old nephew. One thing that my mother knew, because I told her this a few times over the years, was that I wanted to move out. I didn't make it about her or anything like that. Just told her that I am old enough, and that is time for me to move out so that I can live like an adult and do adult things, such as dating. But I didn't tell her that because of my interest in white women and her extreme hatred of white women. So I finally got a decent job as a software engineer that would allow me to move out of the house. So I did that. Of course, my mother telling me to go on welfare stopped because now I had a job and was making way too much money to be on welfare. My sister became more and more hostile since I get the good job. At some point, her shenanigans became so great that I had to move out, for my safety, as she pointed guns at me, with evil smiling and laughing, WTF. After losing my job and moving back home, my mother and sister were cool for the first few days. I spent pretty much all of my time searching for new employment. They gradually got more hostile, and actually went apeshit bananas when I took a job offer out of state, and I was handed the poisoned food on the morning of my departure. Just based upon my latest thinking, inspired by your post, she could make me go on welfare, or other things since I was living under her roof, and not making any contributing payments to the house. But when I got a good job and left to live on my own, she could no longer do that, and I was in control of my money and myself. When I first moved out, while still living in the same city as her, she tried to control my life. But moving out of state makes control all but impossible. Is there any way to find out if there are any current life insurance policies on myself? If so, I will get them canceled immediately. Actually, I am a Black American. My mother, sister, and father hold some Black nationalist/supremacist beliefs. I'm thinking that the fact that I am not exclusively interested in Black women might have at least something to do with this. My sister, for instance, is a Kemetism. My mother has been a Christian most of my life, as far as I can tell. However, when she made her Facebook profile about a year or so back, she listed her religion as spiritual, so that makes me wonder what she really believes. My father is a business owner, and he runs an entertainment company based upon one style of dance. I left the business 3 years ago because I was sick of the abuse, thought he was a sociopath, didn't want to be a starving artist, liked being a programmer much better, and wanted something better out of life. I also didn't want to be constantly talking about race, talking about white people this, white people that, black men, mainly those with white women, are this, that and etc. Update, I didn't know what it felt like. All I knew was that this was a familiar feeling. My sister fed me stuff that made me feel the same exact way earlier, and I suspected that it was poison since I had just finished a bowl of ramen noodles. I then Googled it, realized that the symptoms matched cyanide poisoning, did more research on cyanide poisoning, and then ordered the test kit. I still wasn't ready to totally accept that I was poisoned, and was hesitant to go to the police, just in case I wasn't poisoned. Update, I really don't know. I will never know because I am not in contact with her, I can only make guesses. Some have said Munchausen syndrome by proxy. It is obvious that she didn't want me to leave the house and live on my own. Maybe her son is too white. I know she did try to get me to sign up for life insurance, but I can't remember if I ended up going along. And by the way, I have moved out of state since making my left thread with this account, and am doing very well with a nice job, and am in better health. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, there are a lot of interesting stories ahead of you.